Hello everybody and welcome to my home office in Munich, Germany, where I'm currently working from. My name's Andreas and I'm at the University of Münster in Germany, and in my free time, so to say, I am the managing editor of the open access journal Studies in Communication and Media, which is published by the DGPUK, the German Communication Association. So it will be from this perspective as a managing editor of an open access journal that I will be tackling the questions that they've sent us today. So first of all, thank you very much, Dave, for having me, for inviting me to this roundtable, and for setting up this really interesting roundtable. Before I'll start to answer the questions we all have been sent in advance, I'll just briefly summarize the structure and the brief history of the journal Studies in Communication and Media. The journal was founded in 2011, and back then, when it was founded, the journal was still behind a paywall. Financing of the journal wasn't clear at all, and also the journal was not very well known and also not very well accepted within the scientific community. I got on board as the one being responsible for the editorial office of the journal in 2014, and around this time the journal started to undergo major changes. This was made possible by the fact that we applied for two grants by the DFG, the German Research Foundation, which is the most important German funding agency, and those grants helped to establish and refine our online structure, our infrastructures and services, as well as helped to create the transition towards open access. And going open access really helped the journal a lot, which we can see now as we are witnessing exponential growth, considering all relevant indicators such as manuscript downloads, etc. We've become an ICA affiliate journal in 2015, and I think we've been the first one, but I'm not 100% sure about that right now. Just a few weeks ago in March, we received the good news that we've been accepted for the Emerging Sources Citation Index of the Web of Science. So from this perspective, all seems well right now, and all seems very promising for the future, but this success story of the journal is strongly connected to this decision to implement an open access strategy. Coming from this, my experiences with open access are very good and very promising, and speak volumes about not only the struggles but also the opportunities that come with open access strategies. For the journal Studies in Communication and Media, this meant that we were able to expand the base of our authors and readers, especially towards younger scholars, but in the meantime also with older and established colleagues within the field. For example, during the last few years, the number of original submissions per year of SCM is comparable to, or sometimes even higher than, the numbers for the two traditional German journals within the community. And I think the fact that those other two journals don't offer open access publication is a major reason for this development. So as I said, my experiences with open access are good, and I think that open access offers a lot of opportunities, especially for newer and more innovative formats in science and science communication. There are a few reasons for this. First of all, open access is meeting the demands of a growing community of scholars who emphasize accessibility and timeliness of research, who orient towards global or at least at transnational scientific communities, and who are also increasingly aware of ethical implications and problems connected to traditional and closed publication strategies. So on the long run, there seems to be no alternative to me to replacing traditional and closed strategies of publication or of doing science in general with open access concepts. Or in other words, to get back to today's question, we will have to incorporate open access on a much broader basis. The good news here is that the ICA, as a scholarly association, is in the position to shape and to influence this process of transition. The bad news, however, is that this transition costs money, and the question who will pay for this is still rather open oftentimes. I can just give you a glimpse at how we're managing this at the journal. First of all, we as an open access journal also, as every other journal of course, need editors, need an editorial office, need to manage manuscript submissions, reviewing, editing, need to have an infrastructure and publishing services. So at SCM we are dealing with this by having 4 senior editors who must be members of the German Communication Association and whose offices change biannually. Those 4 senior editors are responsible for decision making and for planning the future of the journal, but they don't get paid for the work. The only ones being paid here are myself, as the head of the editorial office, and the publishing house Nomos, who are offering infrastructure, typesetting, and publishing services, as well as here I'm managing the online publishing and marketing. So here we have the first problem, I think, connected to open access strategies, especially regarding journals. I see a strong potential here that the transition towards open access will contribute to a trend towards self-exploitation in science. And secondly, if we manage to keep the costs to a minimum, as we are trying with SCM, there is still a problem that someone has to pay, right? In our case, we decided against having the authors pay for their publications. Instead, we rely on funding by the German Research Foundation. This funding happened from 2014 to 2020. And we used the money we got there to establish online infrastructure and online services. And now we change to a financing concept that 100% relies on contributions by the German Communication Association, the DGPUC, which is the scholarly association for the field of communication in Germany. So the members of the DGPUC voted to pay for this open access journal that we have here in Germany. And this brings me to the next question. the question about ICA's potential role in this process. From my opinion, the ICA and other scholarly associations should take an active role in handling the transition towards open access. Not only because scholarly associations offer a way to organize and finance open access strategies, but also because scholarly associations are a much more powerful negotiator, for example, when talking to publishing houses or infrastructure providers. At least we at SCM profited a lot from being the journal of the German Communication Association and having the heads of this association at our backs. And what is more, the Sociological Association in Germany, for example, right now is planning to establish an open access journal too. So we don't seem to be the only ones thinking towards this direction. So my time's up now. Thanks for watching, and I'll be happy to answer your questions here in the forum of this online conference or via personal message. Yeah, bye.